For my underdogs, the ones willing to pay the cost. Even when we're up, we gotta take a loss. Underdogs are always against the odds. I'ma use this opportunity to do it for my underdogs. I'ma do this for my underdogs. I'ma do this for my underdogs. I'ma do this for my underdogs. Yeah, my underdogs.
Welcome back to another episode of the Rec Center Podcast. I'm Kenny Edwards, joined with my co-host Lorenzo Parham. Man, what's up, Lo? I know you ready for this one.
I'm ready, man, but I want to piggyback on the last one we had. Man, we got a great interview with my guy, Kirk Johnson. Shout out to Kirk, right?
Okay.
It was only fitting that we bring the other Kirk into this conversation, man. This one is no holds bar. But shout out to Kirk Johnson coming on. But before we start, man, he got his Titan Pride shirt on, which brings me to something today. 24 years ago today, Clarence Lewis, another one of the Titan legends, man, passed away. One of my good friends, best, like a brother to me. And I'm glad we got another Titan person on there today. But today is fitting for today because he can speak on that Titan pride that a lot of people live by. You know, I'm jealous, Ken. They got Titan pride. They got Mac family, and we ain't got nothing.
We ain't got nothing. We can't even get a reunion crack.
We ain't got nothing, man. So I'm gonna dive into this with Kirk, man, because I caught the end of Kirk high school career. Then as he came into college, not even knowing Kirk was a baller like that, cause you just see Kirk around the neighborhood, you know. So I'm gonna dive into break Kirk's story down, man. So Kirk, welcome to the Rec Center, bro.
Hey, welcome, and thank you. Welcome. I'm welcoming y'all like I don't know what's going on, but thank you, man. First and foremost, man, I appreciate y'all for what y'all doing. I appreciate y'all for having me on. 1000%. This shit here, like everybody from the era is talking about it. I don't know. I know that y'all know that, but let me tell. I'm way in Arizona and I'm hearing about it. As a matter of fact, to the extent of, oh, you getting ready to go on? Hey, congratulations, bro. Listen, literally, I'm not fucking with you. Listen to me. Hey, you getting ready to go on? Oh yeah. Hey, congratulations. You know what I'm saying? From Kings. You know what I mean? The peers is like, right. So thank you, man. It's an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And I'm one of those that like, I didn't want to call. I got a direct line to you, Ken. You know that. You know what I'm saying? But that's not how you get. You got to earn the right and wait your turn. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Which is something that Titan pride is. So yeah, let's get. We can get to it.
That's deep right there. That is a gay segue. That's a gay segue. That's what it is, man. Wait your turn. Earn your stripes. Wait your turn. That's what Titan pride is.
And then when you get your turn, it's what you do with it. Right.
Absolutely. So we gonna talk about some of them players that waited their turn, and of course, you already know our guy Gino said some of them guys that waited their turn.
Oh, we getting to that. All Skyline backs right? Overrated. That nigga, no, I hit him No, you can't say that.
So
we can wait till we get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we gonna talk about waiting your turn and that's
respectfully because Gino's a king. I know that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
As I told him, if we're gonna do that, let me back up a little bit. You mentioned the RIP C. Lewis. I didn't know him, but when if you got to thinking and smelling yourself at Skyline, you heard about everybody, right? And one of those ones that was mentioned was C. Lewis, right? Like, man, if he hadn't unfortunately met his demise, it was that type of life. But and then to RIP Gennaro, you know what I mean? And as I told Gino, and I say it on here too, you know what I'm saying? I looked for the competition. And if you was coming up in that era, if you didn't want to play Gino and them, you was a sucker. You know what I'm saying? Because they was the best. They was we were the best. Skyline was the best, but they were the best to come. You know what I'm saying? Competition. Everybody knew what time it was at that game. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so iron sharpens iron. Playing against them absolutely made me a better player. But all Skyline running backs overrated. You out your mind. You understand what I'm saying? Come on. But okay. That's respectfully though.
Let's back it up though, Kirk. Man, so this is the Rec Center, dude. What Rec Center you grew up playing at? What youth football team did you play for? Give us what Oakland Bay Roof team you played for.
So I wasn't blessed to be a part of any of that. I moved to Oakland in the 8th grade, right? I came from New York. My parents I played Pop One and all that. It's a town 45 minutes outside of the Bronx called Peekskill, New York. Let me make sure I do this
that's where Mike Tyson from, right?
He's from Catskill, but they're
Okay.
yeah, and he trained in Fishkill. So there's all those little skills, you know what I'm saying? Towns that populate Westchester County. But my parents, they're from the South Bronx by way of Jamaica. They was immigrants in here. So if you can imagine not only being an immigrant, but coming into some of the hardest housing projects in the South Bronx. My mom's from Millbrook. My daddy's from Avenue St. John's. You know what I'm saying? And so they were Caribbean. They believed in education, but they came up around what hip hop started with, the culture. You understand what I'm saying? The shit, right? And because of that, they led with that in the household. But they were smart enough to move us up to Peekskill, right? And Peekskill, they call it Click City or whatever, 914. Let me make sure I shout them out. They wasn't no suckers, but it wasn't big. You know what I mean? There was only one high school, 6 elementary schools, but everybody fed into the one junior high, one high school, right? And so at the time, my father's in pharmaceutical sales. I give you all that background because this black king and this black queen, my mother became a registered nurse. My father got into pharmaceutical sales legitimately and then ended up becoming a regional manager. And that'll play into some shit later on. But they valued in education and they always wanted to move us. So we didn't live directly in the shit, but we never knew where they came, never forgot where they came from the shit. So that's how I ended up in Peekskill, right? And when I tell you I was going off in Peekskill, it was the Peekskill Panthers. Anybody from West, they remember in that 95, when the triplets and Emmitt Smith and them was doing their thing, I was doing my thing there, right? I moved to Oakland in the 8th grade, King of States Junior High, right? This is where I met Gino. I don't know if y'all remember Kamari Nelson, my brother Ernie, right? No, let me decline that. I'm on the goddamn important call. So anyway, long story long, I didn't to answer your question, Lo. I didn't get a chance to be a part of that. But when I got to Skyline and that was already embedded, the Dynamites, everybody, my boy C. James is Ernie was a Dynamite, Rue was everybody that I played with pretty much was damn near a Dynamite. And they would talk about their tradition and all of that. And of course, you know me, I'm like, shit, I would have bust your ass, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Right. But so no, to answer your question, I didn't get to be a part of that, but I did move to Oakland in the 8th grade at King, and that's when it took off there. I got fully engulfed in the culture, like I said, King.
Why was Skyline the school of choice?
Great question.
Nowhere else.
So to go back to that, right? I dominate, and I'm in the 8th grade, so I'm getting ready to go to the high school, and I said it's a little town, so it was already set up. And Elton, if y'all pay attention to basketball, Elton Brandt came from this town, right? And so everybody, you know, it was like, yo, I was like, I'm getting a scholarly for football. I'm gonna be the one to do it. You know what I'm saying? And my daddy comes home and he literally pulls out like a roster sheet, and he was like, you see these people? Boom, 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 boom. They all work for me now. We're moving to Oakland. And my response is, think about it. I'm like, I guess I'm getting into the shit. All of the, you know what I'm saying? Like, 8th grader, young man. Nah, I don't want to move to Oakland. And then of course, me and my dad's passion, where I found out, you know, my daddy was hella strict. We'll get into that too. No, we get into it right now. Like, my daddy didn't play that. If you know my daddy, some of the toughest thugs, whatever that you perceive that as, they respected my daddy. My daddy could leave money out on the counter. Nobody's stealing nothing. He was one of them type of men. We all know them type of men. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Motherfucker,
I know your daddy.
You straighten up. Yeah, Ken, you know my pops. You know what I'm saying? And so pops was super strict. My mom was super strict too. So it was like they anyway, I didn't want to move. So it wasn't really much back talking. We were moving, but he was like, I was like, what about football? That was my little, you know, I'm trying to manipulate. Like, you ain't even think about football, Pops. He was like, nigga, why are you trying to make decisions? You don't know what I know. I already got the perfect school for you to play at, Skyline. See what I'm saying? The reputation preceded itself as it should. Keep in mind now, Skyline ain't lose a game in Oakland from 89 to 02. You know what I'm saying? Everybody thought we was gonna be the first team to lose. Even we can get into that later, but that definitely didn't happen. But you know what I'm saying? We earned it the right way. But yeah, Skyline, the reputation preceded itself. But low, keep in mind, right? King fed into the castle.
Exactly. I went to King.
Bro, I remember your face. You know what I'm saying? I remember you around. You know how the town is. I thought the town was so huge, but once you move around a little bit, you realize the town is small in itself. You know what I'm saying? I know we haven't had hella interaction, but I definitely remember. But like I said, I went into King first. You remember what King? Do you remember what King was like?
Dude,
let's tell the truth. We on here telling the truth, right?
What?
Like the best way I could describe it for the masses King was like the movie Dangerous Minds, except it wasn't the Mexicans dominating. You know, it was black folk. It was
That's
us,
what I
right?
heard, which
Right.
took
And
me
so
by
if-
surprise because all the people I know from King is hella cool. Like they not even on that.
Yeah, you know, but it was, bro, it was treacherous. Yes.
Yeah,
And then
it
think
was.
about coming in, man. Let me tell you my story. So we moved there. I'm going to Skyline. The junior high that feeds into Skyline is Montera, right?
Yeah.
And Bret Hart.
So I remember going with my mama to Montera, bro, and looking around. And when I tell you, it was some baddie, you know. Look, I'm just being honest, wifey. If you're watching, you know I love you, but we telling the truth. And it's back in the day. It was baddies at Montera. I'm like, yes, this is where I need to be. They're like, nah, you're not in this district. You know what I'm saying? So we get on the way, you know, to go to King. Walk into King, it's funky everywhere. When I say funky, like you could see it's true. Like it wasn't safe to walk around if you didn't, you know what I mean? And my mama looked at me, she was like, you better handle your business. You know what I'm saying?
Now you got to tell the story how you met Ernie.
I'm leading right into that. Like I said, King. So by the third day, you know, now I'm coming, and back then I didn't have no job, but my parents, like I said, a registered nurse and a pharmaceutical sales manager, right? And so if I got good grades and I was handling my business, instead of taking money for Christmas, I want all Tommy Hilfiger and Polo, blah, 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 right? And I'm going into this new school, cool, right? So that I had to earn it, but it was given to me. In my mind, I'm thinking, no, this is mine, I earned it. But you know what I mean? But everybody didn't have the opportunity. I know that now, right? Everybody didn't have the parent to be able to do that. But anyway, so that made me such a target. By the third day, you remember the old school roll sheets? And on the roll sheet, it had your phone number. You know what I'm saying? My dad is out of town at a meeting, right? So we at the house, boom, the phone ring. Hey, what's up, blood? Hey, make sure you bring all that Tommy Hilfiger shit and $20 to school tomorrow, right? I'm like, what? My mama pick up the phone, right? She hear me arguing and shit. She pick up on. She said, "What's going on? What's going on?" Oh, you heard me, bitch. $20, Tommy Hill. You know what I'm saying? Low. I know that you don't know this happened, but is this something? Does that sound like something that's far fetched?
No, that's
Hey,
King.
That's regular Daniel. I know who
great.
did it because it was the
Thank
same
God I
motherfucker
went to Head Royce.
Bruh, the voice. I know the voice, and it's all good now because I understand the culture, right? But
Right.
he was also the same motherfucker making bomb threats. So I ain't gonna say your name. He was also the same motherfucker. Think about that, bomb threats at the school, right? Low. Am I lying, Low? Come on. Right?
Hey, dude went crazy that did that though. I remember him. He went crazy.
So anyway, so my mama,
You gotta
type of
text
mama,
me,
I come
Lo,
to school the
who,
next day. Well, first let me rewind. My daddy's out of town. So Pops, you know, I call Pops, she raises him to the situation, right? And Pops was getting, he was same thing. You already know what you gotta do, handle your business. So the next day I go to school, no backpack. And my mama hops out and she got her hair in a ponytail and Vaseline and Keys. Remember Keys, Lo? Keys was like, nah, you can't come in like that. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, Ma, I got it. So go to Mr. Farrell class, Mr. Farrell, and I'm sitting in the back. Now, mine, like I said, I don't know who it is. I don't know anybody in the school. You know what I'm saying? So I'm on guard, like anybody could get it. Ernie come in and Ernie bopping. You know what I mean? And Ernie is he walking like the man that he is. He been that way ever since I known him. You know, if you know Ernie, you know, right? And Ernie looked at my face and Ernie was like, what's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? So then, you know, I let him know what happened. You know what I'm saying? By the time we leave the classroom, we get to the hallway. At first it's just me and Ernie walking. And next thing you know, motherfuckers get to talking. And now a hell of people behind us. You know what I'm saying? Aaron early, ask Aaron, I'm sure he probably remembers this. You know what I'm saying? We walk to the back of the baseball diamond. And we had a town conversation. You know what I'm saying? I'm just you know what I'm saying? We had a town conversation. And after that, it was all respect. You know what I'm saying?
All it takes is one.
Oh man. And King was, I mean, bruh, it was gambling any which way. We was either flipping quarters, except for Big TY. Big Tamarcus was a monster. You don't let him catch you. Are you kidding me? It was crazy. But it was flipping quarters in the bathroom, shooting dice, or shoot your shot, left hand snatch. Like it was the kids. It was you know when they say the inmates run the asylum, it was like that. Mr. Duyan had no control. I'm telling the truth here. It was crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I once that happened, you know, the respect and came, and then I ended up kicking it with Kamari. And Kamari is how I learned Oakland. Kamari Nelson, he was like, oh, blood. Now, mind you, I lived up on the hill, right? Crystal Ridge Court is still on the hill to this day. You know, it is what it is. So, what's up, son? How was school?
Good.
Good. Come here and say what's up. I'm doing an interview.
Hi.
Young Kirk.
Yeah,
What's
young
going
KJ.
on,
I got to
man?
send you some film on him.
Hey,
Yes,
Kirk,
man.
little Kirk, be a Sun
Yes.
Devil, man. Be a Sun Devil.
Tell him. What you think of that?
Forks up.
Nah,
Come on, man. You know what it is.
Right.
Oh, shoot.
So yeah, let me so Kamari, you know, the hill, the bus don't the 50s, they don't run up there, run to Merritt College, and they know what they're doing. They stop it on the weekend, right? So in order to get to the flat, you had to make, and I had to, like I said, my daddy was strict. He was like, you want to go walk, but you better be home by this time. You know what I'm saying? And so I had to walk all the way down 73rd, got caught up with Kamari. Kamari used to live on 78th and Well. And what we would do, I'm sure Gino probably remembered, everybody would meet up at Kamari's, then we ride the bus to Bayfair, you know, holler at whatever we could holler at, do it, go to Southland. That was the movement, you know what I'm saying? And I learned how to maneuver and get around Oakland with them, you know what I'm saying? Then obviously I was only there for 6 months because it was only that winter semester. So spring semester or fall semester, excuse me, I was in New York. We left at Christmas break, woke up Christmas semester, or excuse me, spring semester. I'm in the town, and that's how I learned the town. And then I was feeding the Skyline, and nobody fed in the Skyline pretty much from King, so I had to do it all over again. And then we.
but check this out though. So not only you coming from New York,
Right.
you been ready to go to this small town football high school, one high school in the whole place, to come into Oakland to go on the Skyline that have all these kids there, and you got these different things. How did you embed yourself in that Skyline football culture your freshman year? How did you like get to
Perfect. Great question, Lo. This couldn't have been a more perfect year for that. This was the 97-98 season, the 12-0, the only team. No, they in the 80s, I think 89 went 10-0, but they didn't have 12 games. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and they didn't beat who they beat. They didn't beat who that 97-98 team beat. They beat some dogs.
Agreed. But my daddy, again, now my daddy's passion was football, but he loved, same thing I tell my son, he loved me more than he loved football, right? And so he knew me, right? And so he was like, nah, you're not playing football your freshman year, right? Because you're gonna fuck up. I'm gonna have to deal with that. And then you'll be ready to go to next year, right? Sure enough, very first semester, I get a 1.83, right? Or excuse me, the very first marking period. Because remember, you had the marking period, and your semester grade was made out of that, right?
Which is easy to do at Skyline to get, you know, there's a lot of distraction.
Hella distraction. You can, especially that year. I'm telling you, Dame and RIP Dame, right, bro. The atmosphere was ridiculous. A Skyline game, first of all, and then it wasn't always safe though. You know, that's the town too. Like if you didn't know everybody, you couldn't be around like that, or something might happen to you. For real, right?
Right.
And let me make sure I say this about Skyline, right? Skyline, so you know, Castlemont is pretty much deep East Oakland, right? Fremont, 40s and 50s, you know what I mean? Ohio, the Dubs, Tech, North Oakland, but actually a lot of people do go to Tech. I will say that, just like you, Lo. But Mac, West Oakland, right? Skyline had factions and representation from everywhere in Oakland. You know what I mean? And it wasn't off campus, and being how tucked away it was up on that hill, you had to stay up there and deal with that. You know what I mean? So anyway, I kind of went off on a tangent.
Nah, brother, it's good.
Nah, you were telling us how you was ineligible in your first market period.
Oh yeah. Okay, thank you. So I got the 1.83, and my daddy, that was the second to last fight I ever lost, right? Because it wasn't no fight. He literally put hands on me, and I get the next market period, I got a 3.17. Next one, I got a 3.33. Next market period, I got 3.57, all the way up to a 3.83. And that saved me for the stuff that I was getting ready to do a little later on. But it allowed me to, I didn't have to do well on my SAT. I only had to get like an 860 because of how well I did early from that correction process that my dad saw was getting ready to happen. But during that, like I said, during that time, the atmosphere where they was on a run. And when I tell you they was the man with all them distractions, and I'm seeing all of it. Like
and personalities.
Oh,
I mean, you talking about Dame
underrated
Bouchelion? I mean, that's a type A personality.
Had blue hair, right?
Yeah.
And was a hitter. You understand what I'm saying? Nothing but respect. You know what I mean? Like they want you. It was everything that I wanted to be a part of. I was watching foaming at the mouth. You know what I'm saying? And Beam knew that. And then we'll get into that. Is he used that? You know what I'm saying? You really want to be a part of this? Go run down there and open up my locker. He treated you like shit, actually.
Walk to Julius and give me some cheesecake.
Wait your turn and earn it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But go ahead, man. Yeah.
Hey, but so you don't play that first year, right? And you got to think Skyline is popping, and all you needed was to wear a jersey on a Friday, and you was in there, right? Just have your jersey on, and you in there. They go undefeated, but even your class that was under that had some dogs in that class. When you come out that sophomore year, do you go straight to varsity or do you play JV?
Hell no, I don't go straight to varsity. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It wasn't none of that. Not because.
Well, now if you talk to some guys in our circle, it seemed like 9 out of 10 guys started varsity 9th grade if you let them tell the story.
They are lying to you. They are lying to you. I'm telling you straight up and down, they lying to you. You wasn't going down like that. You had to be raw to play as a sophomore. Jarris played as a sophomore. Jamal Jones played, but they didn't play. You know what I mean? They was like
on the team.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And no disrespect to them. To Elijah Booker, people don't remember Elijah Booker went hard, right? My dog too. Played as a sophomore. You had to, but you didn't get to play that much. You know what I mean? You had to, right? The competition level at Skyline is like nothing I've ever been a part of since. And that's why I understand what it takes to win. And I understand why in college I lost games. I lost so many games, right? I understand what we were lacking. And let me to give you an example. I played JV, right? I came out the gate playing JV, and everybody had their dynamite reputation too. So I had to literally earn it from the bottom. In our JV, we were terrible that year. That same group, that's one of the I like to argue that we were the best team, but the best team ever is the undefeated team, 12-0 team. Then goes Frank and them because they didn't lose, they tied, and then is our team. But as far as team like unity, we still kick it to this day. You know what I'm saying? But in JV, we weren't that good. We were just a bunch of talent, right? And the thing that Beam had, he had discipline. He commanded respect. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't. It wasn't. Nobody was bigger than Titan Pride. He made sure that you knew that and you had to earn it. My sophomore year, it was me and Rue. We had first period gym. Me, Rue, and Terry. And Terry, but that was back when Terry was delivering pay. Terry was a wild boy, man. I'm telling you, Terry. I know.
We'll get him on
Terry,
too.
let me make sure you got to get Terry on. You know what I'm saying? Terry is one of the most God-gifted players that I've ever played with. You know what I'm saying? Like he bootleg. Me and him used to bootleg together though, right? Like he's also he knows. I tell him lazy. He could have been hella great. You know what I mean? But let me not go too far on the tangent. But us in that first period gym. Beam, it wasn't hella love like that. Beam was like, if they got to do 7 laps, y'all got to do 10. You know what I mean? If you guys aren't winning, y'all don't deserve to play with Skyline. Y'all ain't ready for varsity. What y'all doing? You know what I'm saying? He got it so it was already now we're competing against each other, right? Running the laps. By the end of our sophomore year, you know, most people they were skipping, they was walking, and there was a certain number of laps you had to do. Me, Rue, and Terry. We were done probably a month out because we did so much extra that there was no more required of us. You see what I'm saying? And by that time, we had earned his respect, right? So, yeah.
Hey, but so on that team, JV, I'm trying to figure out you, Rue, Terry on JV, and y'all losing. like JV
Who beating y'all?
Who was beating y'all?
Everybody.
Wow.
But not in the OEL though, because a lot of OEL schools don't have JV.
We lost
right?
to Castlemont, and Chris Loxon was like, "Man, y'all help!" It was so bad. We was hella mad. JV, we lost. I'm telling y'all the truth.
Wow.
Attitude reflects leadership. I'm not going to down nobody, but I'm going to tell you that same group of kids, right? We're going to uplift every, it's all positive, right?
Hey, hold on. Let me back you up. Say that one more time for the people in the back, because I don't think you were talking too fast. You said attitude reflects leadership.
Attitude reflects leadership.
So
It's not just the line. At least it's to remember the Titans, but it's the truth, right? So that same group of kids, Beam took, and when he instilled discipline, I mean, the shit is history. We know what we did. You know what I mean? But we didn't have that same discipline. When you let the inmates run the asylum and you don't have that respect there, this is the thing about football, and this is what I teach my son. Football is not it's not an individual sport. I think we all know that. No one person can do anything without the other 10 people, right? It's what makes it so great. It's what you had to buy into to be a part of Titan Pride. It's never about you. It's about us, right? Secondly, football is not an almost kind of sport. If it's 4th and 2 and you give me your hardest effort and you get 1 yard, it ain't even no time to be worrying about your feelings. Ball, get him the ball. You're out of here. You understand what I'm saying? And so, man, attitude reflects leadership. Beam knew that. He understood every yard, we're going to take it. Ain't nobody giving us nothing. Matter of fact, you guys don't even deserve what's coming to y'all because y'all are going off of what's been built behind y'all, right? You better live up to that. You see, that's what that was, right?
It's kind of like what you're saying. It's kind of like what Tari was saying about
I was just
Sal.
about to say that.
That's what Atari Collins was saying about De La Salle. Like, once you become an individual, it messes up the program, right?
You couldn't even be an individual.
Absolutely.
The locker room would police it. But again, attitude reflects leadership, especially when I got to be a senior about it. But same thing, junior, sophomore. I remember Omar and Chipper, bruh, they didn't play no games. And on JV, you couldn't walk by their locker room acting hella tough or crazy or not in line or doing what you was doing. It'd be a problem for you. It really meant something to play up there and win, right? We're not losing no games. You know what I'm saying? So,
hey, how often? So we had Art Young on there. Shout out to Art. That was our first episode, and what he was telling us about that Titan Pride was not so. Since y'all won so much on the field, that going out functions, parties, y'all used to get tested by the other schools in the neighborhood. Did your years experience that too?
What? 1,000%. That's why we had so many fights. You know what I mean? But it's also what made us closer, right? Because we knew that. We knew going out. I mean, and I try to explain it to people about the sideshow, right? So you'll win, boom, hit the Black Saturday, meet up on 10-6 and Mac, get some gas after everything. And then if you understand the sideshow, there's no law there because you're running from the law. So if you're running from the law, everything in between when police blurb and the next time they hit, it's all on you. Anything can happen out there. You know what I'm saying? And so us coming off the hill, everybody thought we was soft because they thought everybody was some rich kids, right? Or not, I'm not gonna say they thought everybody was some rich kids. What I'm gonna say
everybody was some rich kids.
I did.
Or some type of privilege.
Or some type of privilege. Right. You come from privilege. But I took that personally, right? Because I did come from privilege, right? But my privilege was earned the hard way. Like I said, my parents was immigrants. They didn't play that. There's a reason that my parents put me in public school. Is why I put my children in public school. They said, hey, there's going to be obstacles in life, and you are going to have to overcome those obstacles in order to be successful. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. And so, yeah, I didn't grow up in the hood, but the hood was in my house, and my parents had me at 20 years old, right? Yeah. And so that chip that I had on my shoulder, I remember my dad, when he introduced me to football, he was like, this is where you get to go be you. This is where you go get to let all that rage out, right? And it's true, it's comfortable. Well, that same thing spills over, when you fight and doing all that type of stuff. Decline, I don't know who that is either. I'm doing a great interview. Not because of me, but because of y'all and the platform and the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? But back to, so when we used to go out, of course they used to test us. They used to think, oh, because, you was some type of sucker. And I fed off of that. I used to be like, yo, we going out and they gonna think we some suckers. Let's show them what we are. Let's show them what it is. You know what I'm saying? Just
And
telling you
that's
truth.
that's the Skyline I ran into, because all
but-
that with Art
but-
talking about, I don't remember. Like, I didn't grow up in a Skyline players or soft era. When I was in high school at Ohio, Skyline niggas was knocking niggas out.
Nah, but
wait, let me make sure I say this. Let me make sure I say this, because this is a very important part. We were always in response. We never, you know what I mean? We never went out, because you knew them, the people that purposely bump into you to start a fight, all that.
Right.
We never did that. It was always a response. Like I told you, they think we soft. Let's show them. You know what I'm saying? So
hey,
that's the same thing. And my parents taught me that, and it's the same thing I teach as a parent. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you the truth. KJ had a situation a couple of years ago, and I went to the principal's office. I said, this is gonna happen every single time. If somebody hits my son is gonna hit them back.
Absolutely.
You have to, right? You have to be able to punch the bully in the mouth, because the world is not gonna be nice to you. When my daddy died, the mortgage was still due. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? And so if you're easily able to roll over, the world will consume you. Beam understands that. That's why Beam is successful. He's at Laney now, and because I'm a high school coach now myself, and in terms of Titan pride, it was so competitive. Like the same cats that we going out and functioning with, first through fifth period, it was love, man. I'm telling you, the best of friends. When we hit them bleachers, and this is important. It was on. It was no more friendship. We was trying to tear each other's heads off. You see what I'm saying? And Beam incited that. He loved that. You know what I mean? Beam was like, because practice will start off whatever, and next thing you know, it'll go bop, and it wasn't supposed to be full thud light. And Coach Cook, this was the balance. Coach Beam was over here crazy, and Coach Cook, he was a Christian pastor, but he loved football, and he wasn't no.
He was the offensive coordinator of which one?
Coach Cook is defensive coordinator. Coach Beam is the offensive coordinator, right? Coach Beam, they'll run something, bump, and Coach Cook will say, "All right, it's like," and Coach Beam like, "Yeah, it's been like that, Jerry." Get him, Coach, get him. You know what I mean? And it was like I said, some of the most competitive nature that I've ever been a part of. But because of that, when we got to the games, we got to play with each. It was on. You know what I mean? And if we got off the hill and we was out at the function, at the party, and it was on. It was the same way. But again, it was never offensive. It was always defensive. Those that know us know that. You know what I mean?
So before we tap into that junior senior year, coming to the OEL and hearing all these names and whatnot, I ask this question all the time on here, Kirk. Who do you feel was underrated and overrated that you played against in the OEL? Who would you? Let's start with underrated first. Who you feel was underrated?
Underrated.
It can even be somebody from y'all school that.
Of course, I'm going to do all the schools. We'll start at the line first, because again, the Geno's comment. Everybody loves Terry, and I love Terry. Terry knows I love Terry, but Chris James was a better running back than Terry. Chris James is the most underrated. Chris James had vision. Chris James can run every and any which a play. You know what I mean? Before, and to me, that's how, like, if I were to ask y'all, which back would y'all pick as the best running back in the NFL, out of Adrian Peterson and Marshawn? I'm going to pick Marshawn, not just because Marshawn is from the town, but Marshawn's catching balls out of the backfield, right? Marshawn's pass blocking, right? He's a total back. That was Chris, right?
Do you think Derek Whiteside is underrated?
Man, Lo, we on the same wavelength today.
Hold on. I was working that way.
Okay.
Derek Whiteside, let me make sure. Hold on. Yeah, Derek Whiteside is the best running back I've played with at Skyline, right? Clarence Farmer is the best running back I've ever played with. He was at Arizona, but he was bigger. But when I'm talking about pure runner, boy, could nobody touch D. Whiteside? Nobody.
Now you played with Giannis, right?
I played with Scron. Love Scron. Scron was raw. Another one. You can overrated? You kidding me? No, Scron was raw.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? But he wasn't D. Whiteside.
So I got a question for you.
Skyline,
from the time
he wasn't D. Whiteside.
From the time you was there, 97, 98, to the time you left in 01, like, it was a ton of running backs that went through Skyline.
No, name them off, Lo. Name them.
No, I want you to give me your top. give me your top 5 in the order that I'm gonna name these guys. You got Derek Whiteside.
Okay.
Terry Johnson.
Okay.
You got Roger Ratliff.
Okay.
You got Rob Grant. You got What's his name?
Chris James.
Chris
Chris
James.
James.
Humphrey Garrett.
Uh,
Humphrey Garrett.
Come on, keep going.
Am I missing anybody else, Ken, from that time frame?
That's all.
Well, Frank was a sophomore,
Frank.
so Frank's. But
Frank-
Frank,
Frank
if
and
you count
Giannis.
his Scron, you got to
Frank
count
and Giannis.
Frank,
That
right?
was 8. That's 8 running backs.
Man,
Put them in order for me.
And I think
I can't put them in order, but I will tell you
James
this.
went D1.
One
Well,
more time.
give me your top 5 out of that. Out of them 8.
So I'm biased, right? Because I didn't play with Rob Grant. I didn't play with Raj. I seen them play, but as a spectator, you know what I'm saying? But I got Raj was raw and Rob Grant was raw. But I'm trying to tell you, that's what I'm saying. You can't say that these guys are overrated. I couldn't put them in order.
No, we're not saying they were overrated. We're not saying
Gino,
that.
I know.
Oh,
said
Gino.
they were
Oh,
good.
okay.
Gino knows.
I just don't want to be misquoted.
Gino, and he has some solid arguments. We talked about it off air, but the thing is, I know Gino respects Titan Pride and what we went through too. But nah, ain't none of them overrated. I can't really put them in order. I can tell you this. I'll say
No.
D. Whiteside was the best back that I played with. Then I'm gonna go with Chris. Then I'm gonna go with Terry. Then I'm gonna go with Jan, and then I'm gonna go with Frank.
So Raj and
I didn't play with Raj.
I understand that, but you witnessed them. Hold on.
12-0.
12-0. The
Yes.
team they played against.
Vallejo, Berkeley.
No, it was
Yeah.
Vallejo. No,
Yeah.
it was
Logan.
St. Francis, Logan.
You gotta
Amador
understand.
Valley.
You gotta understand. If you and you know, I'm a very passionate guy, right? Like if you look at my college photo that I sent back, I got Titan Pride written on my wristbands. Like I really believe Titan Pride, right? That 97 team, they was the one. It's like, you know, do you put Pac and Big in your top 5?
Yes.
But
I'm also not a rap guy. I'm also not a rap guy, but
Pac and Big are their own thing, and then I'll make a top 5. You see what I'm saying? Like that 97 team was to me, they were what showed me about what Skyline was. Yeah. Right. Of course, I learned that you walk in the wall, you see all the pictures on the wall. I seen that. But what I go, you know, I'm a very visual and physical learner. You know what I mean? And so I can't. They were immortal, like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Not to take it there, but I'm taking it there because that's what I felt like in the 9th grade. Right. You know what I mean? Right. Watching them, they was running everything. Damn, you sell out? You kidding me? Yeah. He was running everything. Everything was moving. You know what I'm saying?
Everything.
So to put Raj and Rob, that's why I take that. You know what I mean? But you notice, Hump, I love Hump, but Hump to me wasn't better than Terry. He wasn't better than Chris, right? Hump was raw. Hump was, and that's why he went play defense. He was a better defensive player than he was a running back. Yeah. Right. Okay. Who else was on that? Scron. I put Scron in front of Frank, right? So I put him on there.
Yeah.
Who else did you mention that I didn't play with?
You put the rest of them in, but some of the debates.
No, I'm missing somebody if it was 8. Right?
But you had Terry, you had Whiteside, you had
Whiteside won.
You had Chris James. No, I'm just naming the 5 that he had. You had Chris James. You had.
Do y'all remember D. Whiteside?
We remember D. Whiteside. I don't remember Chris James. I don't remember Chris James. I do remember D. Whiteside.
I should have, man. I'm mad. I got all this upstairs and all that, but I got
it's all good. But so one of the things that we hear from people and you on this conversation too is some people had Giannis as like being one of the best running backs in the OAL, right?
No, he was. He was when he became a senior, because he was our punt returner. Because I was punt returning at first my senior year, right? And I didn't come off the field. Me and G alternated at tight end, so I would come off then. But Scron got back there. It was like, oh yeah, I need to block for you, bro. You know what I'm saying? He was like that. He was young. You know what I mean? He was only a sophomore, right? So he then propelled himself for sure to be at that time the best running back in the OAL without question. You know what I mean? But I'm biased because I'm going off of what I played with.
Absolutely.
Right? So and just like I'm sure, and you got to ask me that question, but I'm gonna say it now. You got to get Omar on. Omar, can I tell an Omar story real quick? Talking about Titan Pride.
Go ahead.
So they would go lift at lunchtime, right? The football team would go lift at lunchtime, especially during the rainy season. So of course I want to get on VAR. I played as a JV. I'm going in there. I'm trying to lift and be with them, right? And so Omar's like, come here, get on the bench. You want to play? You got to hit 225, right? So I get under the bench, put it down. He walked. Not only does he walks out, he clears everybody out of the weight room, right? He said, you either get it up or some bad gonna happen to you. He used all kind of other language, you know what I'm saying? But when I got it, and I walked out, I was like, yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm about to be a part of this. I'm about to wreck shop. But it was that type of brotherhood that you had to come through. You had to earn it.
It was a rite of passage.
Like I said, rite of passage. You had to earn it. You know what I'm saying? So for Scron and Frankie, I still call them Scron and Frankie. Them was, I look at them like my little brothers, right? And they had to earn it. They weren't who they became yet, just like I wasn't who I became when I was a sophomore.
Right.
So I'm sure if you talk to Omar and them about me, it's like, oh, that little Kirk. You know what I'm saying? He was. So it's hard to see.
No.
And then of course I was at U of A, so I didn't get to see them like that. When I flew back, what we have, if we had a bye week or whatever, but I didn't get to see them play. I just seen them, win. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, but give me someone that wasn't at Skyline that you felt was underrated.
Fremont, Johnny Brown is not talked about enough.
Yeah.
Look, when I tell you, Johnny Brown was a monster. Like, yes, Gino was good. Red is better than Gino to me, and I told him that too. Red was a monster, but Johnny Brown, bruh, was a dog.
Johnny Brown knocked me out. Yeah, bro, I went into the other team's huddle, bro.
Oh, bruh.
Oh, wow.
He was somebody that you had to deal with. If you go to the castle, I probably say Twine, Twine was raw to me.
Thomas.
We had a few. I told Ken earlier in episode that Castlemont athletes are the most underrated to me. Raw. Yeah, because they just have a team. They have a team, and their season will probably end after week 2 when grades come out. But the athletes in them, even Kamari, them dudes was good. Like they was good football players.
Yeah.
Twine.
Tech,
Don.
Yeah, Don, Tech, Big Mont. He wasn't no sucker out there. Who else?
I think Lamont is probably one of the most underrated. Players. People just don't remember him.
Dub C at Fremont was a boy.
Who?
Dub C.
Was you was gonna have to deal with him if he was on the field.
Gino was telling us some crazy.
I wasn't gonna bring that up. I was gonna let that slide.
Man, I love Gino, man. Hey, but
I watched Gino's interview, right? And I get it, I understand, but coming up at summertime, right? We had to do 8 300s under 45 seconds, right? Then it grew to 12, 14, whatever kind of day Beam was having. You couldn't. And I remember he said, I went up there to see what they was doing so I could bring him back down. All right, you can say that, but it was tough. It was for real like that. And if you decided to quit, that was on you. You couldn't do that. And you couldn't be a player that was it's all about me and that. Nah, we wasn't having none of that. It's team first at all times. You know what I'm saying? That's Titan pride. And Beam will let you know. Just like if you go to ask Beam, and I actually called him later on in life, like not too long ago, and finally got it. Now that I have 2 boys of my own. But if you ask Beam and tell you who his favorite Skyline team is, he said there is no favorite Skyline team. You guys are all a part of. You have the culture of the teams before you. You know what I'm saying? And now that I don't have a favorite kid, right? Because he looks at the team that he built like that. You know what I mean? And so, but the culture was that important. We're not down talking to anybody. You know what I mean? Everybody put in work. Everybody contributed to why we never lost in Oakland.
Yeah, but so when Gino was working out there and y'all doing these 8 300s, is he completing them with the team with you guys?
I honestly don't remember Gino out there like that. So I don't. But obviously he came because he knew about it. But I don't remember him out there like that. And if he did, I heard him say he was throwing up. I'm sure it wasn't one of them kind of workouts where, we worked, people don't understand that. We worked all year round. Like Beam had us doing something. Whether we didn't have ladders, so he would get the crates. You know how Coca-Cola is delivered on them little red pallets. You know what I'm saying? He would space them out, and we'd be in the gym running during the winter. It was bleachers running because he was a gym teacher and an athletic director, so he could create whatever he wanted, but he was always working. You had to work, you had to earn it, right? And so by the time you got to that summertime, because you had been doing all of that, you were somewhat prepared. That wasn't a workout that you come off the street like, yeah, you all right. No, I'm sure you were throwing up. You couldn't, or you looked hella bad. You know what I'm saying? You was either, and so if you decided to tough it out, it was gonna hurt. You know what I'm saying? So,
okay, great answer. Now, who you feel is overrated in the OAL?
Stephen Bell at Fremont, first player that comes to mind.
What position he played?
I don't remember.
He was a lineman. He was like
lineman.
6'3". I think he went to Temple or something like that. Wow. But because I knew you guys were gonna ask me that question, so I had to sit down and think about like who. He wasn't that good. It was Johnny Brown was the dog, and then Ralphie was next to him. But it was he was just big. So I would say him. Overrated. This is what I'm gonna say, bro. The OAL, and you can see it when we make it to the next level at college or when we make it to the NFL. Mm-hmm. The grit that you have and the competitive nature just around the town, it is so strong, right? None of them dudes was over. What's overrated is the lack of discipline, right? If there was more coaches that held kids accountable, especially at that age, it's such a pivotal age with all the distractions that can happen, right? Like if you hold them accountable, you can get greatness out of them. You know what I mean? And so, I give a lot more credit than people want to give to Beam. Like people, we bought into the culture, but he commanded it. You know what I'm saying? He demanded it. And I think the OAL, when you talk about overrated, that means, players that the OAL ain't nobody really like overrated. Yes, Stephen Bell was tall. To be that big, he should have been more dominant. That's why I say that. But he was still a player. There's players at every single school. The problem is the discipline. So, that's the best way I can answer that as far as overrated.
So we had a couple of start bench cuts from you. That was some Titan pride stuff, brotherhood stuff. You already answered the running back question, so we ain't got to go there. You told us how you feel about the running backs, right? But here goes from the defensive side of the ball. Start bench cut. Jairus, Jamal Jones, and Maurice Sapp.
No, Chip.
Oh, Chip. No, I'm sorry,
Chip,
not Mosap. Chip. I'm sorry, middle line. Chip. Jairus, Maul, and Chip.
Jairus, Maul, and Chip. Chip starting. G is on the bench, and Maul gonna get cut.
Why so?
And for which one?
All three.
Or Maul, no. You starting Chip was a hitter. Chip. I don't know if
Chip wasn't. It wasn't just about being a hitter, bro. That's not all middle linebacker is. It's a leader.
Well, when you in high school and you got these big ass shoulder pads on, you just trying to crash that shit like Chip. That's what Chip did.
Chip hit me so hard, bro. I lost my hand for a whole quarter.
Exactly, right.
But Chip also put everybody in position. Chip also called the defense. Chip also made the audibles. You know what I'm saying?
So he knew football.
Yeah. And he was a dog.
Yeah, well, definitely that part.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, but
Maul was a dog too, but Maul wasn't as athletic as Jairus, right? Mm-hmm. Like Jairus wasn't Chip. You know what I'm saying? Nah, Chip was a leader and he was a dog. You know what I'm saying? Jairus was a baller. Jairus got a Super Bowl ring. Jairus went the furthest out of it. I like everybody talks about the offense. Of course, I'm gonna do this, but nobody wants to give a lot of love to the defense. Skyline put out a lot of defensive players too. Of course. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, wait. I said nobody. Let me make sure I give him his credit too. I'm gonna say this. Gino definitely gave a lot of love to the defensive side of the ball that Skyline had, as opposed to what he said about the offense and the running backs. But Chip for sure starting. And just because of the difference in athleticism between Jamal and Jairus, I'm a bench Jairus and cut Maul. But again, Maul ran a defense. Maul was a monster too. He just wasn't as athletic.
Another underrated guy.
Yeah, for sure. For sure,
yeah,
underrated
Maul.
because of them. But now the leader
so
aspect,
quiet. Yeah.
The leader because he was a
He was a Christian boy.
he was a leader because he was he was Christian, super into his faith.
But
You
his
know what I mean?
don't Maul Jones got a brother, right?
Older brother, yeah.
Older brother. His older brother with the king with us too,
Yep.
right? Older brother wasn't quiet like Maul, right?
Nah.
Older brother used to be in all kinds of
I never knew that. I never knew.
yeah, older brother
Yeah.
used to be in all
Yeah,
kinds
yeah.
of shit, right? But my thing is, how much, like when we talk about them starting linebackers, how much did Chip benefit from having Omar on that other side on the defense? Because
Bro, it wasn't just
sometimes,
Omar. Yeah,
but
he had
exactly
but
right.
Chip was in the middle. Chip was in the
Exactly.
middle.
So
So
we
you know what I
got to
mean?
pick it. We
But
picking
you
and
got to
choosing.
understand, especially at middle linebacker, you at any one of the positions, but middle linebacker or any of the back seven, you know what I mean? It's a little easier on the front four, but you still got to make the play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would be in the league right now if I didn't miss so many tackles, right? Like if I made 10 tackles, I probably missed 7. You know what I mean? I should have had 17 because I played out of control a lot. You know what I mean? Everything I had all the time, but making the play is something serious. Chip made a lot of plays, bro, and he was a hitter. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't the fastest, and I think that's probably why I give him the edge over G. Because really, of course, I played with G. I didn't play with Chip and legendary shit, but you only gave me them 3, so that's why I had to do it that way.
No,
Otherwise, I would start. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I would start G. But if with them 3, Chip made the play. He made when it was his time to make the tackle. He made the play. You know what I'm saying? From what I remember and what I saw.
Absolutely. All right, that was that. I got one more for you. Now this on the offensive side of the ball, but it's receivers throughout the time you was playing. Start, bench, cut. You got Rue, right? Rue, a hell of a receiver as well, right? Shout out to Rue.
Rue
right?
starting. Look,
I ain't give you nobody else to compare. Put
You
him
can say
on
Will
with.
Blackwell or something.
Rue is starting.
Hey,
you understand what I'm saying?
So we got Rue. Hold on, let me give you the rest of them.
Okay.
You got Kareem Toney.
Okay.
And you got Danielle Crane.
I don't really remember Kareem Toney.
We'll throw Eugene in there.
So let me take Kareem Toney
Genie
out.
Lamp?
Put Eugene Jones. Eugene.
Jeannie Lamp. Yeah, Lamp.
Yeah, Lamp. Yeah.
Gene. So Rue starting, Gene on the bench, and then you said Danielle Crane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm cutting Danielle for sure. Jeannie, bruh. So I only lost 3 games in high school. I lost to De La, I lost to St. Francis, and I lost to Ignacio. That Ignacio one is why we are not. That shit still hurts to this day. It hurts the most. Second one is St. Francis. When I tell you we're at St. Francis, we lost on the last second wheel route, right, on the defensive side of the ball. Gene was the one that put us up. And when he ran his post corner, Gene routes, that's what, because Gene wasn't necessarily the fastest guy.
Crispy.
Yeah, Lee, head. You know what they say? You give a corner good head, he always going to bite.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Bye. Lost him. That's how we were in position to win the game. And then, of course, we lost it on a wheel route. But Gene was raw. Danielle was an athlete, but, that's how I go. But Rue starting for sure.
Hey.
For sure. Because Rue got routes, and Rue is always going to catch the rock. You know what I'm saying? No matter what, Rue catching the rock.
So when did the recruiting pick up for you at Skyline? Like, was it in your junior year or your senior year?
That's the question that I'm gonna have. I gotta answer this the right way because this is a very involved answer. You know what I'm saying? You're asking me when did it pick up?
When did it pick up? When did it start being a thing for you?
I started getting letters my junior year, right? And my parents also, they got a divorce, right? My sophomore year, and then Pops had to hold it down on one salary by himself. So he was traveling a lot more. And that, when freedom's around, you get into stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm getting letters, but I'm also not going to class. I'm also not handling my business, right? I'm moving around Oakland and stuff, right? And so long story long, junior prom comes up. I go, like I said, I got beam 6 period. So because junior prom is that day, me and my brother, we are going to get stuff prepared for junior prom. We had to get a car. We had to get a bunch of stuff. So I did it during school, but then I came back like I was at school all day, 6 period, right? And so Cal, Hawaii, and Arizona, right, all came to see me. So Beam has them. They can't. I think somebody came in the morning. Obviously, I wasn't there. So Beam has them come back 6 period. So I walk into the gym. Kirk, come here. How was whatever class? You know what I'm saying? No, you wasn't there, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Points to the scouts. They came to recruit you. But I'm telling them, you ain't gonna be shit. Don't recruit him. He just wants to run around in here and be a hoodlum in Oakland. You know, something to that accord. You know what I'm saying? They walk out, right? Now, mind you, I'm getting letters. I'm getting hella letters, right? They walk out. Beam, he does that daddy thing, gets all in my face, right? And he's like, you see that wall behind me? I built that fucking wall. You're going to do what I say, when I say it. If you can't get the fuck out of here. But before you get the fuck out of here, get your father on the phone, right? Man, make the call, boom, pops come up. Beam pulls out, he opens up my grade book because he went and got my grades from all the teachers, right? And I was on like that same 1.83 track, right? My dad turns around after he looks in the book and he punches me square in the face. Boom. And we were over by the wall. I flew back to, if the cabinets weren't there, I would have fell. You know what I'm saying? And my dad turns to Beam. He said, Kirk's going to do whatever you say. I'm going to meet him at home. We'll deal with this. Whatever you need, you got. Whatever support, you got my full support. You know what I'm saying? And so from that, yeah, life changed. I did anything Beam said. First, I had to go to summer school. Went to summer school, boom, 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 boom. But this is the power. All the letters stopped.
So he don't be bullshitting when he said,
when I tell
don't
you
recruit
all
him.
the letters stopped, because after the workouts, that was the thing. After the workout, he was like, I got these. All right, let's see you got letters. You know what I mean? And he would pass them out, right? Jairus is getting all these letters. Rue's getting letters. All my letters stopped, right? So then I go have the season that I had. And, LaCory, I knew, you learn the history of Titan Pride, right? So I knew who was doing what they did. LaCory was definitely a dog, #1 in the nation, right? I got player of the week in the nation. I got to give myself my flowers since I'm alive, right? And make sure people understand this. I had 3 defensive touchdowns in one game. Of course, they gave Terry the picture in the article because his back flap was out. He was balling too. He was looking hella clean. He had the gloves, like one red, one white, one red, one white. You know what I mean? Like, but that story was about how I had them touchdowns, right? And I say that to say, when I got in trouble, he started making me come. We had 7 o'clock workouts. He would make me come to the gym at 6 and watch film with me, right? And so he also taught me how to watch film. And so that season was a direct correlation to me learning what the team was getting ready to do to us, right? And so once that happened, Fresno offered me first. They offered me and Terry, and I was like, yo, whatever school offered me, I'm going, right? I'm not even wasting no time because I don't have no college offers, no nothing coming in, right? Mean was like, no, you're not doing it like that. This is what you're going to do. So all the schools would come to see Jairus because Jairus was, 6'4", 215, had over a 3.0, and he was a player. You see what I'm saying? But what Beam would do when the coaches would come to see him, before they could watch his tape, they had to watch my tape, right? And so when Notre Dame came in, offered G, and then Miami came, right? And when Miami saw my tape, Miami offered me. And once Miami offered me, the whole country offered me. I went from literally nobody to the number 18 ranked safety in the nation, literally overnight, but that was the power of that. You know what I'm saying? I took the trip to Oregon. Oregon flew me up on the private jet, me, Demetrius Williams, and my guy, Phil, and he's from Vallejo. I think y'all remember from Vallejo. He was
Feel good.
Goodman. Yep. We flew up on the jet. It was crazy. And then I went to Arizona. Now this is where my pops comes in. This is an important part of the story. So, like I said, my dad became the manager. So he was the West Coast manager for a pharmaceutical company called GlaxoSmithKline. So he had everything from Washington down California, Arizona, and out to Hawaii, right? And my dad, he never missed a football game. Excuse me, I'm sorry. He missed one game. My pop won it, and like I was my junior midget or something. He was hella mad, But other than that, he didn't miss any games. You know what I'm saying? And so everybody knew I was going to Miami. Now, let me make sure, again, these Flowers that we're talking about, people to this day say that was the best Miami team of all time, that 2001 team, right? The team that I got recruited to. Ed Reed was my host. DJ had went the previous year. So I wasn't the first player to get recruited. DJ was, and then they came, and then it was me and G, right? So Pops, he knew I wanted to go to Miami, right? He was like, so we get up and we're outside on the balcony at the house. And my dad is like, he's like, so what's your plan? I was like, Dad, you know my plan. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to Miami. He was like, man, Miami's so far, man. How you, and how you got to graduate? I was like, graduate? Dad, I'm going to the league. It's Miami. Everybody goes to the league out of Miami. He was like, see, that's the shit I'm talking about. You think this is about football? I could care less about football. This is about your education. And you're going to go out there and you're going to get into some, you know what I mean? He's on that type of time. And I was like, Dad, I promise I graduate. And he was like, how am I going to see you play? You know what I'm saying? And at that time, Miami was on TV every week, ABC, national TV. You know what I'm saying? And I said that. I was like, Dad, they on TV every week. And my dad looked at me with this look. I'll never forget it, man. He was hurt. You know what I'm saying? He felt some type of way. And he was like, nigga, I ain't never missed it. I missed one game, but pretty much like I've been in every game, and you're gonna sit up here and tell me I can watch you play? What type of shit is that? You know what I mean? And I was like, damn, all right. So Arizona was coming up the next week, right? And he was like, all right, I'm gonna take this trip with you. Now, Arizona at the time had the number 8 ranked defense in the country. Coach Akina had just put C-Mac put himself in there, but Coach Akina, called the plays, put it, you know what I'm saying? Chris McAllister is who I'm referring to as C-Mac. But it was a good fit. But we went on a trip. This is another important piece. Let me rewind a little bit. In Pop Warner, my dad made a deal with me. He was like, Kirk, if you get a full scholarship, I'll buy you whatever kind of car you want, right? And I always held him to that. You see what I'm saying? And so a lot of the times behind the cars in the sideshow in the town, we would get in the funk over that type of stuff too. Okay, fast forward back to this conversation. So he takes a trip with me to Arizona, but it's my younger brother's birthday. We fly in on a Friday, do the whatever, go to dinner. He flies out the next morning back to Oakland, and I continue to have my trip. My host is my brother to this day, Lance Briggs. And, we had a great trip. It was an off the hook trip. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I wasn't going, it was like, if I wouldn't go to Miami, I'm coming here. You know what I'm saying? And so when I get back that Sunday, my dad is sitting and he's got this look on his face. He's like, how was the trip? And I was like, yo, it was off the hook, Dad. I'm telling you, it was off the hook. He was like, so? And I was like, yeah, but I'm still going to Miami. And he was like, if you call the coach right now and you commit to Arizona, we can go buy your car tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, Dad, you don't play with me. You serious? I'll call him right now. Right? And so he's like, yeah, I called him. I was like, I'm committing. And, like I said, the culture that my parents created, honor, integrity, loyalty, you know what I mean? Like if you give your word, you got to keep it. You know what I'm saying? And so I committed to Arizona. Now, and I want to make sure people understand this. And my father, to this day, he's the greatest man I ever knew. He died in 2011 of liver cancer. But this is a lesson that I learned. I learned the lesson of regret and what defines regret, right? If you make a decision for somebody else, if you make a decision for yourself first and it's the wrong decision, you can look at yourself in the mirror and be like, you know what? I messed up. You know what I'm saying? But when you make a decision for somebody else, even if it's a person that you love with all your heart and it ends up being the wrong decision, that's when you deal with the regret of what could have, what this, You know what I'm saying? And so that's a very valuable lesson that I learned from that, right? Is go, it's your life. You dictate your life and what you want to learn. Now, with that said, things worked out for me. I got a great life. I can't complain down here in Arizona. Things happen for a reason. But I would have went to Miami for sure. But I hope that answers your question.
I'm going to complain for you in Tucson, Arizona, because it's Arizona, but it ain't it ain't the. So now let's talk about that.
Bro, regardless of what happened,
No, let me tell you,
y'all are still behind. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Y'all about a damn near half a decade behind somewhere in there. It's all good.
One thing that made me proud though, Kirk, on this, man, was when I was at Arizona State. I'm signed to go to Arizona State. We all leaving at 01. I get there in spring of 02. You there?
Okay.
Andre Torrey come. My college JUCO teammate.
Yeah.
Andre Torrey come there. And I'm going to Arizona State, right? Dude, the excitement I felt knowing that y'all was just down the road, right? Down the road. And I don't want to get into this Lance Briggs story about, Lance Briggs and the step show after party and the rail son situation. I won't get into Lance, but since Lance your big bro, still to this day, if he happened to see this interview, right? At the step show after party, I'm there. Terrell sucks there. I'm not,
I was there. Yeah.
My son might end up at a school where old boy is a dean at, so I don't want to right? But hey, the coolness I felt knowing I'm good. Kirk is here, right here. Man, I'm from Oakland. I'm good. I don't know nothing about what happened, right? That was one of them things where we start talking about town business, right? Because
absolutely.
Even though you at a rival school, man, we from Oakland when we out
here.
We from Oakland, right? And that's what it was like. So it's like, damn, even though Lance do what he do, and people start running, I'm like, man, I'm good.
You already know.
I see y'all back in Tempe. but hey,
no, I'm glad that you said that too. Like, that's the beautiful thing about Oakland, man. And like I said, I was born in New York. I understand Pac, in this vein, right? It's being born in New York, but then I got my game, and I was raised. Like the town is so pure, right, and what it is, and just like at Skyline, first period through sixth period, whatever. But when it's on, it's on. Same thing. When we get out of town, and you from the town, it doesn't matter if you was from the west or the north or nah. We Oakland in here. You know what I'm saying? You mentioned that step show. There was a Long Beach step show, and that same exact thing happened, and we all had to click up like it's the town. It don't matter what happened on the field. Don't matter none of that, right? Oakland, we gonna ride for each other. You know what I'm saying? And that
I feel like the Long Beach step show was like the meeting point for NorCal and SoCal to just get it out.
Figure it out.
Get it off your chest. Whatever you gotta say, just get it. We can meet at the step show.
Hey, let me tell you how that carried on. Let me tell you how that carried on with me into college, though, right? Because it's a gang of LA dudes at Arizona State. And
U of A.
My dislike from them in Northern California led all the way through college. I'm like, man, fuck. And people be like, hey, man, you from Cali? I'm from Oakland.
I'm from Oakland, right? I'm from Oakland.
Straight up. Yeah. I'm associating Cali with LA. I'm from Oakland, right? Different. It's different.
It's different. It's different. It's two different states. It's all good, but it's two different states. You know what I'm saying? And
absolutely.
And we riding for ours for sure. Right. But and even that on the football field, I'm sure you did this too, Lo. Like, if we were getting ready to play a team, I'm looking through the roster to see who's from where, because it's all love after the game. You know what I mean?
Shit, that's how me and Lo clicked up.
Right? You know what I mean? But same thing. I call D-Dub, Demetrius Williams, or I remember Ramon Reed. He played at Oregon too. Like, I didn't know them outside of football, but because it's love. We know what we went through to get here. You know what I'm saying?
So, but one of the things is, so you named some guys that was at Skyline when you graduated that year. How many signees y'all had that year in that class?
5.
It
was every year. If we had 5 every year that I was at Skyline, I know because that was a big part of it too. Being with, it was always in the cafeteria, and it was a big deal, right? And you were sitting, and I remember watching the year before me, it was Hump and them, and the year before that, it was Omar and them. But I was like, man, I'm gonna be there one day. You know what I'm saying? But our year, our 5, it was Jairus, Harrison, Rufus, Terry, and myself.
Got it. That's deep, man. And the crazy thing is, man, like Terry, like you said, if he worked harder, it could have been way more.
Wait. I gotta make sure I say this, bruh. Hold on. Underrated. The best player. I gave you the best player. Best running back that I played with. The best player that I played with at Skyline was George Benson. If y'all don't remember George Benson.
I remember George.
Yeah, of course.
I remember George.
When I tell you he was a dog, if we didn't have him, we don't beat Fremont in the Silver Bowl that year with Red, because Red was going crazy. And Big Johnny Brown and Big Tamarcus was pulling up. I'm giving you real shit.
The same play, back to back. That fucking counter.
What? They thought we were gonna lose because me and Terry had to go hit Big TY and Big Johnny Brown to try to force this play over and over again. They was demolished. What? Oh my God! And then those film sessions, Beam's film sessions. Like, you know, what you see on Last Chance U, I tell them all the time, like, it's, you know, I get it. He always responds, Kirk, it's a different era. It's a different type of kid nowadays. But it's so much milder. Those film, he would, laser pointer thrown at you and all kind of physical and disrespectful.
I've heard a lot of child protective services stories.
So how was you gonna respond to that? You know what I mean? What were you was either gonna get right or and I gotta give y'all remember little Phil P40? P40.
Bro, we know everybody.
Silver Bowl. After they won the Silver Bowl, after we win the Silver Bowl, I should say. Well, 40 was like, oh, y'all finna lose. Who y'all got? Yeah, don't fuck this shit up. You know, 40 was a clown like that. But we took that to heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, lose. Nah, not us. You know what I'm saying? But I had to make sure I give George his love because George was a dog.
George was hella cool. George was.
And if y'all don't remember my brother, let me make sure I don't leave him out as far as underrated. Ernie Houston. Ernie Houston plays center, was all city for us. He was the shortest center out there, the shortest lineman out there, ran the line, right? That line that everybody wants to give love to. Bruh, without Ernie being there, we're not that line. You know, it's not none of that because he demanded a certain type of element. So I got to make sure I got to give my brother Ernie his flowers too.
You want to know who was underrated from the Skyline? Also, they don't talk about them, get that love. Jerry Bailey, right?
Oh, yeah, monster. Monster.
Like
smart
Jerry
man,
was smart as hell.
Kind.
Yeah, he went to Columbia.
To this day, still one of the kindest people I know. You know what I mean? Yeah. But on the field.
Yeah, hey, Jerry was.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Anybody tell you that you just walked in and you did not just walk in and play at Skyline?
But say that again. What Lo say? Say that again for the people in the back.
Tubob kept it real. I seen Tubob
man. Off air, man. It'd be a lot of people, man. If you let them tell the story, they started in the 9th grade.
Okay, what these new cats say, they cap. Okay, they are lying to you. That's what I'm saying. It was so many people in line. You had to earn your turn. And to earn it hurt. Yeah. So I'll give you this story again, right? Jay Wall. Y'all remember Jason Walton?
Jay Wall. Yeah, he coaching at Mac now.
36. This is Beam. I'm balling on JV, right? I know I'm getting moved up. Beam calls her. Y'all remember that drill? It's a running back linebacker drill. You set up bags, step over bags, and it's pick a hole. The coach is behind you as the linebacker. He's telling the running back which one it is. Okay, so he sent for me and a couple other cats. I ain't gonna name nobody else because we all got embarrassed. But I'm gonna just take this one on me, right? And so I'm like, yeah, it's on. And I see, okay, and you know I'm a talker, right? I feed that's something that we get in the OAL too, right? You can feed off of that shit talking,
right?
So I already know. I know Beam. I know how he is. He's gonna go hole number one. Ain't nothing to jog. He's gonna in his. And back then, Jay Wall, he wore 36. He really thought he was the bus. You know what I'm saying? And I was probably about 165 pounds soaking wet, maybe 170, right? Man, I ran with everything I had. I knew at this moment, this is how I set it off. This is how they gonna know that I earned the right and I'm gonna be here. And I linked in with everything I had. Bah! I'm going, bruh. And as I'm trying to grab, bro, he steps on my hand. Embarrassing. Beam was like, you think you fucking ready for this? You get the fuck out of here and get back to JV.
Oh, shit. Hey,
you had to earn it.
I wish, man. I wish.
But which is why when it was your opportunity and you got it, right? Because I know there's a perception like we come off the hill and we're arrogant, but a lot of people don't know what we go through. You know what I mean? But when everybody's shooting at you, you got to come every time. You know what I'm saying? And it to me, in my life moving forward, right? I have bumped my head along the way, but the resiliency I have, I know is a direct reflection of both my parents compounded with Titan pride.
Absolutely.
See what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Hey, so this is a question I want to ask you, right? Because there's a thing in the East Bay. The only competition Skyline should have had was De La Salle. So you had the years that players that you came up under didn't get their shot at De La Salle. The game that you guys lost to De La Salle, did you take it as if like, you know what, this is for the other guys that happened? But when you get on the field, what was the real differences between Skyline and De La Salle? Because to us that don't get to play a De La Salle, Skyline is our De La Salle game.
Right.
That is our De La Salle game, and we get up for that. How was it for y'all getting ready for that De La Salle game? And how similar was it in the coaching? Because I see Beam and Coach Lattiser as kind of the same in their discipline and the structure on how they implement things in their team.
Absolutely. I think that, so number one, to answer the question, preparing for De La, we prepared like we prepared for anybody else, right? But we knew we had De La. Let's not act like we didn't know it was De La. Now, what I will say is we played in my junior year and we got smacked straight up. It was 21-0 by halftime. But it was, DJ bust a run, and then it was, the quarter drive, by the second, you don't do nothing again to the second, but it was like a thorough ass whooping. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just a knockout. It was that, you know what I mean? Just like a clinic, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I hate that, by the way. Like, I really hate that. But what I will say is their discipline, the same thing is discipline to me, right? And here we come from the time we have discipline for in the OAL. But I mean, the way they would snap down and everybody in the line would slap in a cadence that it wasn't no lateness. They was always running. It was, you could see that, oh yeah, they put in the work. You know what I'm saying? They're not coming. They're not scared of us. You know what I'm saying? They, a matter of fact, they know who we are, and that doesn't do anything to them. You know what I'm saying? They came here to play, right? What I will say this is my junior year, that was Humping George in them year. We lost 2 games, De La and St. Francis. I wish we'd have played in my senior year. We was that type of team my senior year.
You think that 1 year would have made that much of a difference?
Yeah, because of the leadership. Remember, I told you attitude reflects leadership, right? Jamal Jones was a leader, but he could only do so much. That junior year team was a more, let's put it like this, the junior team was a more street savvy team than my senior year team, right?
I got what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? My senior
you also
team,
have Ernie up against Derek Landry.
I'm putting Ernie against especially Ernie against anybody on the line. His guy ain't gonna make the play. You know what I'm saying? Right. Against anybody. Now I'm not saying he's gonna blow him off the ball, because there's a weight advantage sometimes, whatever. But his guy ain't gonna make the play. You know what I'm saying? Ernie was a dog, bro. Like, that fucks with Ernie. And so, but our defense was disgusting my senior year. People forget about, like, my senior year. We played in a span of 3 games. We gave up -2 yards. You know what I'm saying? -2 yards rushing, and like a total of 90-something yards, something crazy. Like
at what point against De La did you know, like, okay, it's a long night,
we got more work to do?
It was 21-0 at halftime. What are you talking about?
now at halftime, was y'all like, okay, let's make our adjustments, let's come back?
Of course.
Okay.
All right. Of course, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
It didn't work. Hell no, it didn't work. You gotta tip my hat. I tip my hat to anybody that's earned it. I'm gonna take this to a certain, you know how people hate the Patriots outside of Oakland. If you're from Oakland and you're a Raider fan, I know why you hate the Patriots, because of the tuck rule. Yeah. But everybody else now, 20 years later, or Tom Brady, because now Tom Brady's at Tampa, they hate because you win, right? Right? Like, at first they love you when you earn and you come up as the underdog. But in America, if you win too many times in a row, all of a sudden it's like, man, I'm tired of seeing him win. Yeah.
I hate Skyline.
See what I'm saying?
Duke, and I hate the Patriots.
See what I'm saying?
But the Skyline hate is more envy and love hate. I hate Duke.
This is what I'm saying.
I hate Alabama, Ken. I hate Alabama.
But for some reason, I love Alabama. I don't know. It's weird.
But see, for me, because I come up under Titan pride, I know they got to be putting in the work to earn it, to do that. So I respect it. I love that. You see what I'm saying? I love a champion. I salute a champion. You see what I'm saying? And again, this comes from Titan pride and my father. My father would tell me, he was like, you know what's the difference between everybody else and us? He was like, people don't realize everybody get the same 24 hours. It's what you do with it, right?
100%.
It's why my
100%.
son, he will get, I'm going to say it on there, automatic beating, lying and stealing. You don't got to steal nothing from nobody. You could go earn whatever you want. Yeah. The people that make excuses, they sitting over there making excuses because that's who they are.
Yeah.
My pops, now that was, again, facilitate at Titan, same thing. Beam wasn't, you want it, earn it. You want to play, show me you want to play. Yeah. You got to be committed. You got to come to every workout. You got to handle your business in the classroom. If not, which is ironic, I become a firefighter, Beam would make us run to the firehouse. I'm sure you've heard about that, right?
No.
Nah.
What? If you messed up like I messed up, take off to the firehouse. The firehouse from Skyline is probably about 1.5 miles, 2 miles away. Proof that you came from the fire, you had to get a fire helmet. And I'm sure, I got to the point where I was like, man, just give me like 6 of these, please, fellas. Like I definitely, if you talk to Beam, and everybody doesn't love Beam the way that I love Beam. I was going to get into that. Huh?
I was going to get into that because I feel like there's a 50-50 of guys who love Beam and see him as like Ladisor, like Lo said. And then there's 50%. And even part of the 50% that don't fuck with Beam are guys that played like stars.
Yeah, factors. And I love them. They're my brothers. We played on the field together, right? But they know my position just like I know theirs. The thing about Beam, right? Beam, he's a man's man. He believes in those same things that I'm telling you about: honor, integrity, loyalty, right? If you are handling your business and doing what you're supposed to do, he will go to bat for you. He'll open up his entire network for you because he wants to see you win. He wants to see you be successful. If you bite the hand that feeds you, if you decide that you're going to do it your way, right? He can make it so that you hate him because he doesn't give a fuck about that. He wants those that wants to win, right?
And I wanted to touch on that. I wanted to touch on that too because I know Lowe's favorite word is accountability.
Absolutely.
And I just want the world to know that because I think depending on who you talk to and what circles you choose to run in, Beam could get have a very negative stain on him. I fuck with Beam, and Beam has done things for me, but you got to be accountable.
You got exactly
for the relationship.
And I can speak for the other side because, to be honest, like I said, everybody came to see G. I told you my story, right? Beam didn't have to do, but Beam, I wasn't the power. I am my parents' more wild child. You know what I'm saying? And so, accountability is important. You have to have accountability. It's what I teach my son. If you have it, Beam will ride with you all day. But you can't sit up here and act like you haven't done anything wrong and it's just that way, right? But there's 2 reasons people don't like Beam. Either because of that, right? They messed up and they did something and they don't want to take accountability for it. Or because they wanted to play another position, right? And they felt like they should be in a different position, but Beam put them in that position because it was the best thing for the team, right? And when you have these conversations, it's like, okay, well, let's be real. Who is you going to beat out? You know what I'm saying? Right. But, those are hard and tough conversations. You know what I'm saying? But you want to lay, again, because it still boils down to accountability. You want to put the blame at somebody else's feet. In either scenario, you either messed up or you wasn't good enough to play that position, but you was good enough to play this position and help us win.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? What's more important to you?
Hey, as a coach myself, what you just said summed up. Now I understand it more, Ken, when we hear the thing about it. As a coach, if I have a program set in place and you go rogue on my program, how much fight you want me to do for you, right? Like you got to understand what happened here. Like a lot of people, and stories change over the years. People have their views of certain stories, right? But the facts don't change, right? Did you do something to go against the program? That's all that matters at my end of the day.
Did you do or did you not?
Did you do, right?
Like I'm going to say, like, my old lady right now, love her. She gave me my 2 boys. You know what I mean? Especially after she gave me Bam Bam, straight up lifetime contract, period. I got 2 boys now. But she thinks I was abused growing up, right? Whether it was Beam, whether it was Pops. I tell her I never got an ass whooping I didn't deserve.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I did things, right, to cause these things to happen. The last fight I lost, I'll give you another Beam story. So Pops had a Corvette. And of course, I felt like the man. So Pops is out of town. I take his Corvette. Now I take his Corvette and I'm down by the hoagie shop, right? Of course, get the hoagie shop on Seminary. You want what? Kill it. Bing, pulling up. Now we have a scrimmage that day, our inter-squad scrimmage. I'm going crazy, right? Going crazy in the scrimmage. After the scrimmage, Pops good, feeling good, big smile on his face, Beam calls him over, and I'm thinking he forgot about it, but I'm not. I knew he was gonna do this, right? I'm hoping he forgot about it. But he was like, yeah, Kirk played well, but ask him what he was doing around 12 o'clock today. Oh, no, tell him. What was you doing? And of course, I had to explain to him, yeah, Dad, I took your Corvette out. That was the last fight I ever lost in my life. And it wasn't no fight. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, we all got that, I tried my Pops.
You see what I'm saying? Like, at this point in my life, especially being a father and having sons of my own, if you're going to talk about accountability, you got to teach from the real experiences, because you can feel that, you know what I'm saying? And you can say, okay, this is why I am. This is why this happened. I got to be accountable for the things that I've done too,
Absolutely.
And Beam respects that. If you're that, Beam will ride for you all day long. If you're not, it's life to move forward. You know what I'm saying?
I got a question for you, Kirk. So you at U of A.
Uh-huh.
Your brother is a Sun Devil.
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
So
that's the third fight you lost.
That's the mental fight. That's the mental fight you lost. That's the mental fight you lost.
Nah, actually, and I'm glad you asked that question. Actually, and this is important for players to understand, right? I played unfortunately, Arizona was the worst time in Arizona history. Tomey gets fired, then we get Magovic. Magovic gets fired after 3 years, and then Stoops comes in. I played for 4 different defensive coordinators, so there was no continuity and no consistency. You know what I'm saying? And I did things on myself that very talent-like and that follow me to this day. That is a part of my story that I can speak from when I speak to the youth, to not make the same mistakes that I made, right? But I say that to say one of those coaches was this defensive coordinator, Coach Bray. He was actually the best coach I had, a football coach outside of Coach Beam. Well, my junior year, Coach Bray was defensive coordinator at U of A. My senior year, Coach Bray's a defensive coordinator at ASU. You see what I'm saying? Coaches don't expect at that level. This is why I won't be a college coach. I want to be a high school coach. When I retire from the fire department, that's my goal, is to be a high school coach and help do the things that Beam did and get people out. You know what I mean? But I say that to say the loyalty isn't there to the program from a coach's perspective. It's the players that you played with that bear down, right? And so when you ask me about my brother, fast forward, my brother's 7 years younger than me. When he chose, when he was figuring out where he was going to go, I was already living up in Phoenix. You know what I'm saying? And he was walking on. He wanted to walk on the program, and Coach Bray was the defensive coordinator, right? And so I'm like, yo, you could go earn a scholarship, you could play, and I'm here in Phoenix. I know you got to play for them. It's probably typical of our relationship, to be quite honest. So as a brother, though, I just wanted him to go to college, and I wanted him to experience college football. And my brother ended up actually earning a full scholarship over there at Scum Devil U.
I never heard it called. Lo, what do you say to that?
Hey, man, he caught me off guard at that, Ken. I don't have like no rival comeback for that, Ken. Like, he got me on that. Hey, my Sun Devil Nation, I will be back with something when it comes to my head, man. Hey, but hey, Ken, he got to take that up with his brother when he say that.
Right. I never heard
it. He got all kind of comeback for it. I ain't gonna say none of them though.
Man, but still, so man, like just him being able to go to college, like you said, man, being close to you still, like I wish when I was in college, my brother was around.
Yeah, it was dope. We would go to, as a matter of fact, we would take KJ. I would always go to the U of A ASU game. We would always have push-ups on the game. And want to say like 3 out of the 4 years. That this was it was just I had to do push-up literally right after the game. You know what I'm saying? And all my U of A stuff in the middle of all his scum devil people hit my push-ups if we lost. He would have to do the same thing if we won though. So it makes it interesting. It's like I said, it's kind of typical of our relationship. It's a love deal. You know what I mean? Love hate.
So now as a high school coach, how much of Beam do you have in your coaching style?
A lot, man. Again, you know, Beam and my father. You know what I'm saying? My father. When I talk about men and greatest influences in my life, my father is first, and then Beam comes second. You know what I'm saying? It's in now with my father passing too. You know, people don't realize, and this is the importance of a father, right? You don't stop being a father when you're young. You know what I mean? There's stuff that a 50-year-old man could teach a 30-year-old man about life. You know what I'm saying? And so now that my father's passed, I speak to Beam a lot more. You know what I mean? I spoke to him a lot before, but his influence, like I said, between them two is all who my coaching style is. I'm a passionate guy. I'm gonna hold you accountable, and it's like I'm one of those that you don't run to the line, you run through the line. I got that from Beam, or else we was running again. You know what I'm saying? My coaching style, for example, I also coach my son's flag football team, right? And I go hard on my son. I go harder on my son, so that way the parents know when I go hard on your boys, I'm going this way on my son. You know what I'm saying? Beam, if you were considered a top recruit, you know what I'm saying? Like if you were a prospect, bro, you had it the worst. Beam would have after practice, we done ran all our gassers. Kirk and Jarrett's grab the tires. You guys got five 50-yard pulls. For what? You talking back? Rufus, get up there with him. Now the whole team is back on. You know what I'm saying? Like, but we got the tires, and now the whole team running with us. You see what I'm saying? But it was always he's gonna, and I do that to this day. Like I said, with my son and with my high school boys and the youth boys that I coach too. It's like, oh, you a star? Let me. You think you're a star? You really want? You know, heavy is the head that wears the crown, right? Because the team is watching, right? If you talk to Frank or you talk to Scrum, or you know, they'll tell you from their own perspective, and it's great to hear it now, 20 years later, what they thought, but they knew, you know, it's all about team. You know what I'm saying? It's period. And we're gonna go hard on you because we want to win, and he's going hard on us, so it's gonna be this way. And more importantly, we're a part of this culture that goes back way before you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we didn't, like I said, we didn't lose. I never lost in Oakland, ever. You know what I mean? Especially not on the hill. Make sure I give y'all the pregame ritual before we get out of here too.
You go stand us off with that. But when you just talked about is bigger than the culture that ever came before you, like sound like some remember the Titans ass shit. That sounds fitting for real.
Absolutely.
Right? Remember the
Matter
Titans,
of fact, before
right?
we played the Silver Bowl, we all went to Emeryville as a team and watched Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans, right?
You know, because that was a big bowl. Keep in mind, we won the first game we won, it was 21-20. We won on the very last play of the game. So, and then they started writing stuff in the paper like the gap is closing, blase, like everybody thought we was going to lose. You know.
If you had to pick, right? There's a tough question. If you had to pick your
tell Uncle Brandon that
your wall of fame, your wall of fame, you only get 2 people to put up on the greatest Titan wall of fame, in your opinion. What 2 people would that be?
2 people, greatest Titans. Oh, that's tough. Of all time. Well, I already said George. George is the best player that I ever played with, personally. We just talking about them as high school players, right?
High school players.
And they don't have to necessarily be the best. It's just the 2 to you that are just, man, these are the 2 greatest Titans of all time.
To me, yeah, I'm going to put George because he was the best that I ever played with. And I'm probably going to go Omar.
Yeah, that's nice.
Ken,
who would you pick, Lo?
Ken, if I ask you that question, who would you pick for Oakland High?
Kenny Edwards and Robert Sasser.
Kennedy
And
Edwards and Robert
you
Salle.
put yourself.
Oh
Yo.
shit! You
Hey,
still got.
I'm that
you
kind
got-
of guy.
You got Omari Murphy's and KP's.
If I take myself out of it, I would go Jason Goree and Robert Sasser.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll definitely go, man. I got to go Mikey Denard. I'm biased to that, and when I'm saying I'm not biased to that, it's from just doing it on both sides of like doing it in like leading us to the Super Bowl, even though we lost, but hitting 2 home runs out of major league ballparks back-to-back nights. Like you can't write a better story. And then, you got to go Marshawn, man. You got to go Marshawn. You got to go Marshawn Lynch.
You know what I love about Marshawn is not only that he put in the work to get it done that way, but the way that he's representing the culture the right way, to the point where people that knew, because I had dreads back then, all that back, and they like, man, y'all town is, that's how y'all are, huh? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, it is.
It is.
You got to tell them it ain't just in the dress; it's in our walk, it's in our talk.
It's who we are.
It's in our.
It's like you said. I'm not from Cali. I'm from Oakland.
I'm from Oakland.
From the Bay.
You know what I'm saying?
From Oakland.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So, Kirk, man, before we get out of here, man, give us some signing off words, man. Appreciate you for coming on and doing this interview, man. Give us some parting words.
Give us that pregame.
Oh, the pregame.
All right, I'll definitely give you the pregame. But first and foremost, let me make sure I wrap this up the right way again. What y'all brothers are doing, man, it's remarkable. It's nothing short of remarkable and phenomenal. You know what I mean? Because this is like an opportunity. It's our Hall of Fame. I'm gonna put it like that, right? Like you can put this up on YouTube. It's there forever. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the plays that I was a part of, and it was before YouTube, is not there. You know what I'm saying? But this immortalizes you. And so it's an honor, man. I'm humbled and honored to be on y'all platform. This is dope, man. As far as words to leave out on, I'm gonna go with tough times don't last, tough people do. Always remember that. You know what I'm saying? And it's about perspective, right? Everybody has bad days. Some days is a crawl day, some days is a walk day, some days is a run day, but just keep going, man. Go get whatever it is that you want in your life. You know what I mean? And that applies to if you 14 years old and watching this, 37 years old and watching this, whatever it is, even if you're 75 and you just want to get up and go to the fridge and get you something to eat, right? Do it. This life ain't a dress rehearsal. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you go after and you go get it. But understand that it's hard out here. And that's okay, because that hard, that it gives you the value of the good. You know what I'm saying? When you earn it, like a Titan, like a resistant person from Oakland. You know what I'm saying? New York ain't the only place where if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. You know what I'm saying? And I know that for a fact. So that resiliency is there. Now, the pregame ritual. Okay. Yeah. So, and Beam always swears that he knew, he always says, I don't know what the hell went on in there. I just knew that y'all came out and y'all better be fucking ready to play. But so we'll be in there, we slapping music or whatever, and then the one song comes on. It's called Couldn't Be a Better Player Than Me. Y'all remember that? Was short.
Even if you are there the week.
Yeah, boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Once you heard that boom, 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 you already knew it was getting close to game time, right? Boom, boom, boom. So that song is going on, right? Boom. And we had this Coach Tower. You know what I'm saying? He was defensive line coach. Tower went hard. Tower, he ran the gassers. He didn't care. Get on the line, right? But Tower comes in, the music now. He's, hey, cut that shit off, right? This is every week. If we're at the house, cut that shit off. What's up, Tower? Right? Let me tell y'all about these 3 things. What's that? What's them 3 things, Tower? Shut the fuck up and I'll tell you. Here go these 3 things. Number 1, you don't piss in the wind. Why is that? Because you piss all over your goddamn self. Number 2, you don't step on Superman's cape, because he'll turn around and punch you in your motherfucking mouth. And number 3, you don't bring your motherfucking ass up on this motherfucking hill thinking you're going to win a motherfucking football game. Oh! Doors kick open. We ain't never lost. at Skyline.
Okay, so Low, you like that one, or you like ain't no motherfucking punks at Bishop down? Which one?
Yeah, I'm biased. I played for Coach O'Neal, baby. Hey, but that shit, what Kirk just said, just kind
Hey,
of got me.
Hey, I
juicing.
got the chills
Hey,
right now.
Win my next game. Win my next game.
I'm about to look up a flag football.
When my next game start, right. But that's how you had to approach things, man. And that type of like what we talked about with Kirk Morrison, what Coach O'Neal did, right? The psych that type of shit playing a 15-year-old kid in, have you ready to run through a wall.
Telling you.
Right, man. Thanks for coming on, Kirk, man. Appreciate it,
Nah,
bro.
thank y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all having me.
Hey, man. All right, man. We'll talk to you later, Kirk. But next time I come to Arizona, man, I'm gonna make sure to hit you up.
Yep, definitely. Matter of fact, get my info from Ken, and then we'll definitely tap in.
Shoot me your address, Kirk, real quick, because we got a gift.
No, you got to text it. He can't shoot it to you over the.
No. On the text. On the text.
Okay. Text it to him. Man, you can't shoot it to him over there. Man. All right, man. Have a good one, though, Kirk.
We'll do, man. All right. Now.
You know how to remove them, Ken?
Yeah, I'm about to do it. Hopefully they just hang up.
Okay, there we go. Hey, Ken, man. Dude, what we just witnessed and heard from, dude, with him is literally why he had it on his shirt, Titan Pride.
Yeah.
Like, just talking to Kirk, you see how proud he is and the school that he went to and the coach that he played for.
Yeah. It makes
and
sense
I think
now.
It makes a lot of sense now, man. And you get the gray areas. We get Art's story on how, he felt. I knew how Clarence felt. But then we also have the Kirks and the little Corey Collins and things like that people that did what it is that they're supposed to do, right? To tell the different players dealing with one coach, man. Titan Pride, man. But when we talk to Bean, man, and he doesn't waver in who he is. We know he's a disciplinary coach. We know he have his guidelines in place, And I think it's the coming from the non-structured backgrounds, lets us know if we can handle that or not, right? Because I couldn't handle it, right? I need the easygoing shit. I need to be playing for Coach Edwards or Coach Zoe.
Got a little leeway.
they player coaches. I need to go play for the player coaches, right? I need to play for them because I need that wiggle room because I was consistent at making bad decisions, and I need to not have my bad decisions getting me kicked off teams, right? So that's with knowing your personality. That's me knowing it as a grown man. Yeah. As a 15-year-old, some people don't understand those type of things.
But you figured it out, though.
Absolutely. I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Doing great.
Yeah. Cool, man. We want to thank Kirk Johnson for coming on. It was another great episode. I learned a lot. I respect the Titan. I already respected Titan Pride, but I respect it even more now. So just thank him for coming on. Appreciate you guys for watching. You can check us out and follow us on Instagram at the Rec Center Podcast. Also, subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Rec Center. I'm Kenny Edwards for Lorenzo Parham. We out.